exclamation. Mayvet TV, aka Me TV, aka Ass Catch 'em, because I'm catching all their asses red-handed when it comes to this type of stuff today. I'm just saying, like, the things that I'm seeing, I mean, the fact that they're trying to push you and prod you and goat you into stuff, and it just makes me mad. I just started this video and I'm mad. It just goes to show you that these companies will keep pushing the boundary on whether you feel it's acceptable or not, just to buy their pieces of fucking plastic. That's what it is. And the thing is, in these certain type of comments, I mean, I should say comments, these certain type of topics that we're going to talk about today, I'm just letting you know now, some of these things that we're fighting against and saying these things are bad, it may be a little too late to stop them. Just letting you know that. Okay? Let's move on. Let's go forward. Let's start. Okay? The Nintendo Switch. Nintendo and their train wreck. And that's what it is. It's train wreck. I can't believe that this is what I'm seeing from Nintendo. You know what I mean? That they go so far as to pretty much push you away. And think that, you know, you're going to become an addict, and we will talk about addiction later when it comes to games, that you're going to buy this regardless of how much they disrespect you, how much they intrude on your privacy, things of that nature. Let's start that right now, shall we? Let's start that. So, let me pull it up. All right, ready? Nintendo thinks spying is the answer to making game chat, which is their online, their online gameplay when it comes to talking, game chat on the Switch 2 safe. They think it's safe. So they're going to spy on you. And they're going to spy on your audio so when people are talking, they can say, hey, that person said something bad. Now, here's the thing I have with it. Here's the problem. I don't know if they're hiring people, which I really doubt. They're going to hire so many people to listen in on so many conversations and then say, okay, this is wrong when it comes to spying. Or is it going to be an AI? Which to me feels like it's going to be an AI. Because you would have to hire so many employees around the world to get a human reaction for this. I don't think that the bots are going to be able to catch that. Because that's what it is. I don't think that Nintendo, I'm sure they're going to try to use everything that you use as data to collect for AI to understand more humans. I understand they're going to do that. All right, which is wrong in general. But, I mean, this seems like they're just going overboard when it comes to spying on you. So the question is, are you okay with this? Are you okay with being spied on when it comes to your chat? That this is invasion of privacy, you won't do it? Or do you feel it's not that big of a deal because more likely you'll be talking and it's not going to matter anyway and it's possibly been done in the past? That's the question. Okay, so I leave that up to you in the comment section whether you feel it's okay or not. All right, but there's more. Nintendo. All right, Nintendo, and this is ridiculous. It's only going to get worse from here, just letting you know. All right, just get worse from here for Nintendo. Nintendo revises user agreement, and if you break it, Nintendo reserves the right to brick your Switch. You gotta be kidding me, man. And the thing is, this is not just the Switch 1. This is the Switch 2 as well. They revised their stuff for Switch 1 and Switch 2. So, if you got a Switch 1, they've already started it. If you're getting a Switch 2, you will be met with it as soon as you get it. I'm just letting you know. So, if you do anything illegal, whether you decide to jailbreak your Switch or not, or just, you just want to run emulations on it, they will find you. They will find you. So, I'm just letting you know that. They will brick your system. They can do the same thing. We've seen it with companies back as old as Dragon Age when it came out. Oh, you said something bad in the comments about our game? We'll take the game away from you. We'll just cut you off of the game where you can't start it up. And mind you, this was back, in the PS, what is this, 3? PS3 era, was it? They were doing it PS3, something like that. The PS3, early PS4. I think it was PS3 because it was Dragon Age. So yeah. But they did it with games back then. They can ban you from their games. They can ban you from their console, so they can ban you from the hardware and the software while charging you an arm and a leg for said hardware and software. It's ridiculous. This is what they're doing. And you know what? This isn't even the worst of it. No, it's not. So Nintendo does this. And I don't know if you feel as though this is another one where you say, you know what? I'm going to skip it. You know? But there's more. That's right. There's a lot more. So, with that said, here we go, Nintendo again. The new update on Nintendo's EULA prevents users from filing class action lawsuits against them. So, let's just say that something goes wrong with Nintendo. And it affects everybody. Alright? Like how it did on the PlayStation 3 when stuff like that happened. And when they took Linux away. And everyone got mad and they had to pay out for, for class action lawsuit. Their new terms of service, the EULA, you can't even do that. So, you're going to be spied on. You're going to get your system bricked if you do something they don't like. You can't sue them. And all of this to play their plastic box. This is crazy. Dude, there's no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. But there's more news. Alright, for all that Nintendo is pulling up to do, and make things difficult for gamers, or should I just say consumers in general? Because, let's be honest. This is supposed to be a family system. Which it's not, but for the price. But it's supposed to be. Okay? So, Nintendo Switch 2 console leaks early and reveals major weaknesses. That's right. So, let's move forward on this talk. The motherboard of the Nintendo Switch 2 console has reportedly leaked early, which in turn has provided new insight into how the console performs. And included in this insight is word of major weaknesses of the console. More specifically, the CPU of the Nintendo Switch 2 is notably lacking, which means the console may have a hard time running a few different types of games and genres, including real-time strategy games, grand strategy games, simulation games, MMOs, and to a lesser extent, demanding open-world RPGs and games with advanced physics and AI. Beyond the CPU, the console has checked out so far in the performance test. Look, they're charging you, $465? That doesn't go with games you're going to buy. That doesn't go with Joy-Cons that you're... all the accessories that you have to buy. That doesn't go for the online that you have to pay for. And it's lacking. I told y'all a couple weeks ago. I said that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be on par with like a PS4 Pro. So they're still behind. Now, mind you, I think in this case, people are going to look at the handheld and say that's pretty strong for a handheld and still get it. But the fact that they're charging you all this and hitting you with all these rules, you can't jailbreak it. You can't, you can't sue us. You can't, like, we're going to brick your system. We're going to spy on you. And for all of this, and the game still has this weakness in CPU, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Insane. I just don't understand. I don't get it. But with all this said, all right, Nintendo, they're kind of coping right now because the news is out there that, and people are deciding, not to get this system, to an extent. And The Nintendo president says the Switch 2's lower than expected sales forecast is due to its high price, not U.S. tariffs. So you know that this is a problem. You knew that the high price is keeping people away, and yet, you see it in your forecast, and you decide not to lower the price to get more people. I don't get it. I told you before, they're outpricing themselves. And it goes to show you that the president is even saying that, look, all right, we're going to be down on sales for a while. Look, they're going to have deals eventually. Maybe Black Friday, maybe Christmas. They got to hit some type of sales and deals. Now, for what they're talking about, this thing is supposed to hit, 16 million, 16 million units sold. Was it when it first comes out? Some are forecasting 20 million units sold. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? But it goes to show you that these type of things, Nintendo clearly sees the problem and decides to turn a blind eye to it. It makes no sense. I've never seen companies do this. Oh, well, it'll be okay. We'll make it up later in the long run. No, you want to get them out the gate as fast as possible. This is your best chance to do it because it's just releasing. It's just releasing. That's what you do. But knowing that they're having problems with sales, then they decide they're going to do and push the FOMO system. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, the pressure, the peer pressure, fear of missing out. That's what it is. FOMO. So, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, it says, Best Buy confirms most stores will have limited inventory of Switch 2 consoles, games, and accessories on June 5th, launch along with the chance to receive a Nintendo collectible item. Basically the same message as the other night that Wario64 here has posted. So, it goes to show you, late night opening, make sure you're there, to get your Nintendo Switch 2 because it'll run out as fast as possible. It's going to be one of those things where you have to get it now or you're not going to get it anytime soon. So this is what they're doing. So they're relying on you to panic as consumers in order to get that system. I say don't give in. We've seen this tactic before. Nintendo uses this tactic every time that there's a console coming out, that they're coming out with. Every time. Oh, we're running out of shortage in this, and this. We saw it with the PlayStation. Oh, we have a shortage this, and this. Many people run out and buy it. It's the same thing. It's a tactic. It's not facts. All right? And I don't want to hear, but really, no, it's a tactic. It's been used way too many times for it not to be seen as such. So, these companies know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know it's in hot demand, and yet they purposely do that. And I'll put it like this. If they didn't do that, you know what I mean? If they really were worried about demand, what they would do is they would, delay the system. But no, they're not going to do that. Oh, no. They're going to release it then and cause panic. No way would they delay a system. Just like they hate to delay games. It's the same thing. No one wants to delay stuff. But at least with games, we can say, well, they have time to make it better. And that's what you're okay with when it comes to the delay. With these systems, people going to be mad. You know that. So they want to get them out as fast as possible. But we've got some serious problems here today. And I think we need to have a talk about it. Saudis. I talked about this before. And I told y'all that what was happening was going to get worse. And then you go down the rabbit hole and you see exactly just how bad it gets. All right. So, as you can see, it's already pulled up on the screen. All right. The Saudis. Now, we talked about the Saudis being, stepping their foot in when it comes to King of Fighters. We talked about this. But no, there's more. I told you that it was going to be possibly an invasion. And yes, they have taken over. The Saudis, all right, they have stock, and it says Nintendo. It says they have significant stake in Nintendo. Electronic Arts, they have substantial stake in EA. Take-Two Interactive they have invested in Take-Two, the parent company of Rockstar Games. All right, Activision Blizzard previously held a stake in Activision Blizzard, which is subsequently acquired by Microsoft. So you know where that's going. Okay, so Embracer Group. It says they invested a substantial amount to acquire 8% stake in Embracer. Scoplay, it says that, they acquired Scoplay, a major mobile game publisher. It says ESL Faceit. It says, they acquired and merged ESL and Faceit to create the esports powerhouse. All right. It says, and also other, other investments in companies like Nexon, Capcom, Koei Tecmo, and SNK. Not to mention, they also have Sega in their pocket as well. Also, just to let you know, because of all these things, they also have their hands in Monster Hunter Go, and Pokemon Go. This is just something that, this is what they're investing in. They are in the gaming community as hard as possible. And it goes to show you that this is not going away anytime soon. Now, also, with that said, I want you to also understand that the Ring magazine, I talked about it before, how about it's all connected, right? Well, once I did that video, what happens? The Ring magazine, they announced that the Saudis are going to make a new boxing game. I told you it's all fucking connected. I'm not crazy. It's connected. So, with that said, it says, together with the legendary Japanese video game designer Takashi Nishiyama, it says, The Ring is proudly to announce a forthcoming boxing game featuring original characters. This strategic partnership marries with The Ring unmatched authority in boxing with game developer Dimps, a decade-long experience in crafting classic games. It says, Nishiyama is best known as the creator of the iconic Street Fighter franchise, arguably the greatest fighting game series of all time, while at Capcom. Look, I'm telling you, this gets worse. It gets worse. It says he worked for classic games such as King of Fighters and Metal Slug while at SNK, and also created Fatal Fury. Dimps, since his creation in 2000, has been involved with many best-selling games ranging from various Dragon Ball titles, Sonic titles, and Street Fighter 4. It says development of the untitled boxing game with Dimps will begin soon, and we can't wait to unveil more details in the future. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. So like I said, it goes to show you that they're knee deep in the esports thing. Now they're creating a boxing game, and of course, you know they're going to put that on esports as well. Look, they are in. I thought that Tencent was bad. I thought they were bad. Jesus Christ, they got their hands in everything, and in certain developers, and it just goes to show you that they're willing to people are willing to cozy up with them for the almighty dollar, because that's what it is. It's money. It's talking. And you know the Saudis got a ton of fucking money. Oil money, blood money, whatever you want to call it. It's they have a ton of it. They're not going anywhere at this point. This is what I'm trying to say. It's maybe too little, too late. And that they're involved in everything. And here I go saying I'm going to boycott SNK. There's a ton of fucking companies that they've snuck in and put their hands in. It's crazy. Also, I think some of these companies that they invest in isn't too bad. I mean, 8%, for one, isn't too bad. But 96% for King of Fighters, I'm sorry, SNK was ridiculous. All right, they just own the whole damn thing. And like I said, when we saw that with Ronaldo and Salvatore Ganacci, I'm telling you now, you're going to see more of that in their future games. I'm just letting you know. Not just talking about SNK. I'm talking about in other companies they have invested in. You're going to see more influence in those games since they are paying that much money. And speaking of that much money, FGC, I can't believe that you're this stupid again. I can't believe it. You're like a bunch of seals clapping. Oh my God! Or. Oh my God, I can't believe that we're getting this. For those who don't know, and I'm putting it up right now, as you can see, Fatal Fury, all right? Fatal Fury. The championship prize will be $1.5 million, all right? Total prize will be $2.5 million, all right? When it comes to King of Fighters, champion's prize will be $500,000. The total prize will be $1 million, all right? Champion's prize will be for Samurai Showdown $250K, all right? Total prize $500K, $500,000. Now, as you can see with these, the FGC has just went nuts. I mean, I don't understand why. I just think that it's out of control, and they aren't caring exactly what is going on here. You know what I mean? For them, it's I don't know. For them, it's just, they just see money and say, "Oh my God, the scene is back. We're great, and we've always been great." And people having us, no. You've been a piece of shit for a very, very fucking long time. And you've been very naive for a very, very long time. You still can't read the signs on what's going on. But I'm not surprised at this point, because you have to understand really quickly that when it comes to these games, they just stay hustled. They stay hustled. They do. I mean, we're getting ready to see it again when it comes to getting hustled. And I say this because you're like, what do you mean, Event? Look, I'm going to put it this way. These two assholes are back to embarrass the scene.
You thought this was over? This is never over! When everyone turned your back on you for whatever this is that you became, I stuck up for you. I said, you know what? I like this new version of Xavier Woods. I like this character. But where was my invite to the Capcom stream? There was no invite. There was no text. There was no phone call. Your people didn't reach out to my people. Where was the invite? I thought maybe we had some common bond. I thought maybe there was a tie that binds. I thought maybe for once in our lives, we had something we could relate to. The ball is always in my court, and when it comes down to this, which is much more important than wrestling, let's face it, you can't win! And I'm done!
Kenneth Jerome Omega. The reason you didn't get an invite today is because you're not worth it. Now, if you're done talking, why don't you sit your ass down and get on these sticks?
Now, you're probably saying, Event, why are you calling Xavier Woods and Kenny Omega assholes? What did they do? I'll explain. For those, y'all know the history of what's going on. But for those who don't know, I will explain for you, okay? So, a couple years ago, Xavier Woods and Kenny Omega came out and said that they were fans of fighting games. And when they said that, the FGC was like, holy shit, we got celebrities that are fans of fighting games, and we should, roll out the red carpet for them. Instead of being cautious of who you let in, given the fact that, in real life, that's what you do. You be cautious of who you let in into your life. It's the same thing with the community. Be cautious of who you let in. Let them earn it. You know what I mean? But no, they didn't want, they just let them come in and trample all over shit and carry on just like they did with Lupe Fiasco. For those who don't remember what happened with Lupe Fiasco, all right? You know what? No, I won't do that yet. I'll stick with Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods. So when they came in, they made a false narrative, a made-up narrative on why to play a fighting game, which there's no problem. Saying they like fighting games, that's no problem either. It's what they did once they got there. Kenny Omega tried to sell his merchandise to gamers, all right, using his influence. That's what he tried to do. And Xavier Woods, using his influence, tried to get gamers to watch his channel. That's what their agendas were. It wasn't the fact that they're there to be part of the community. It wasn't there because, they just want to have fun. No, they had agendas. Okay? The same thing, now I'll get to it. The same thing with Lupe Fiasco when he came in and tried to sell thuggery t-shirts. And what happened then? The influence that happened with that. Because people was like, yeah, I want a thuggery t-shirt. I want a thuggery sweatshirt. We thugs now. This is what the FGC has come down to. We thugs. People who play games wanting to be thugs. And then thug activity started happening into the gaming spaces. And TOs was like, that's not what we wanted. That's not what we wanted. We don't want thugs here. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you used it anyway, didn't you? You let a person in, that does it. And mind you, Markman, he got Lupe Fiasco a system. That's right. He got him a system so he could play games on it. He ain't doing that for anyone else. All right. I'm just saying. But celebrities, that's where we're at now. All right. Famous celebrities who automatically get a free pass to walk in this bitch and do whatever they want and try to sell you on bullshit. That's what they doing. That's where we're at. Jesus fucking Christ. So same thing with Waka Flocka Flame. Same thing. When the FGC let him in, he tried to sell cryptocurrency to players. How many times do you have to go through this to see the bullshit? How many times are you so fucking naive or turn a blind eye to shit to understand you're being hustled? There's no saving them at this point. There's none. And Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods are going to do the same thing over again. They're going to try and keep those numbers going so that, so that you keep tuning into them. And you keep seeing, trying to say, oh, well, they're part of the community. They're not. They haven't done anything. And people, for those who don't know, once they were done their set, and everyone's like, yeah, you're part of the community now. Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods walked off into the sunset. And the thing is with that, is that when that happened, then the allegations of the pedophile stuff came out. And people who knew about this type of stuff were compliant. That's how I see it. They were compliant. Because they knew what Mr. Wiz was doing. They were close to Mr. Wiz. They knew what he was doing, but never said anything. They are compliant. Mike Watson said the same thing. He said that, you can't trust him. I've been talking about this for a long time, and no one's believed me. So you won't believe a player that's in this, but it took all this time and let all those victims go ahead. Crazy. Because of who they were. The influence that they had. You didn't want to call them out on it. And then when you look at Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods, because I looked at them too. People looked at them too and said, look, you have influence. You have some sort of power. Why don't you talk about this so that we can shine a light on this problem? And they went quiet. Now they're back. Fucking bullshit. That's why I call them a bunch of assholes. And the FGC, they just don't learn. You keep letting these people in, just like I said, it's just like in real life. You keep letting these people in instead of just being cautious about things because you don't know who, the person is. And then they just get fucked up the whole time. And then they wonder what went wrong. You're a fucking idiot. That's what went wrong. It was bad enough that when that was happening, I remember when, one of the actresses came out and said they love fighting games. And Justin Wong took his ass on over to her mentions. Hey, I can teach you how to play fighting games. Get the fuck out. Shut the fuck up. That's the problem with y'all. Y'all so fucking hunting to be known and famous instead of just staying true to yourselves. And that's the problem that we're having. Just to let y'all know, in real life, you should stay true to yourself. You don't act out of character just to get someone to notice you. Or it's ridiculous to do that. You're not being yourself. So when the person finally sees that, you don't want to do these certain things, or, I thought you were someone else. You're not who I thought you were. Because you weren't keeping it 100 the whole time. That's what we're at now. This is why I call the FGC a bunch of fucking frauds. And naive as fuck. They have no life experience. Crazy. But with this hustle, we talked about the Saudis. But here's something that the FGC I don't think understood. Yeah, the Saudis is giving money. And you're like, yeah, you know. And you're thinking, why aren't people speaking out about this? Maybe because the Saudis, they are partnered with Evo. This is why you're seeing all these prices, these big price pots. So it goes to show you. And you know that means Sony's involved. That means, you know what I mean? Every developer that, you know what I mean, that puts their game out there, they're involved. You know what I mean? Like, it goes to show you, man, this rabbit hole goes deep. And it connects in so many different ways. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that it's out of hand. It's very out of hand. So, I'm just letting y'all know. This is something that needs to be dealt with. Just letting you know. I'm pulling up a graphic right now to show you. Tekken 8. Still got to talk about Tekken 8. Season 2 patch was poorly received, and that almost all the game balance developers were replaced because of it. The game director for Tekken 8 publicly apologized and vowed to fix Season 2 with the new team. I think it's a little too late again. I think it is. Because I've seen enough from what they've been trying to do. They tried to silence gamers at one point. People who were critical of Season 2 were banned from Bandai Namco. Commentators who do the shows, they were let go for being critical of season 2 patches. Now we've seen people who said, you know what, I'm dropping Tekken 8, I'm going back to Tekken 7, and then they're posting footage of them going back to Tekken 7. So it goes to show you they're not talking the talk, they're walking the walk as well. You know, it's really one of those things where I'm seeing a lot of people, especially on Twitter, say, I'm dropping Tekken 8. It may be a little too late. Just letting you know that. So, with that said, let's move on to our next part, which, I must say, Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I want to talk about this. I warned y'all how long ago? I told y'all how long ago that this shit was going to happen. They're going to start off with the base product. And then first off, they're going to try and get you to pre-order so you can get certain characters, right? Then they're going to hit you with DLC, right? Then they're going to hit you with this, the season pass bullshit, right? Then they're going to hit you with microtransactions, right? Okay, now, with that said, understand that afterwards, I said what they're going to do. To revitalize their product, they're going to try and hit you with Game of the Year editions. So you might as well wait for a Game of the Year edition. Did they get you with that? Today they did. That's right. For those who don't know, regardless of what, this is Warner Brothers games, regardless of what you fight for, now is the time to make mark in this era. Own the Mortal Kombat 1 Definitive Edition, available now. I would like to say that I tried to warn people. I tried. But sometimes that's not enough. It's just not. And you gotta learn the hard way. I understand that people want these games. Like I said, it's fear of missing out. It's fear, especially people who play fighting games competitively. They're going to jump on it as fast as possible so they can get their work in, so that they can understand how the system works and how they can manipulate their combinations and stuff like that. I get it, all right. But you also have to understand, which I don't understand, to be honest. You're going to get patches anyway. So you're going to get nerfs and buffs. So playing at day one, and of course you're going to try to get in the tournaments on day one so you can get your weight up. But that's the thing. Once the patch comes out, it nerfs characters. It buffs characters. Now you got to go back to the drawing board to see how things work. So I don't understand what's the point of buying a game, a fighting game at least, right out the box. I mean, it's going to cost you $70 right away. And then you got to pay for, they say, because that's what Sony's, how much their games are now. You're gonna cost $70. Then you gotta pay for the DLC and the season passes and the microtransactions, and then all of a sudden, you're getting definitive edition. Now that's if you get all the season passes. Now you may get a couple characters, but then choose not to get the other. So then when the definitive edition comes out, you're thinking, well, I did want those characters to try anyway, so why don't I just buy it all for one base price again? That's what happens. So I'm telling y'all, it's out of hand. It's out of hand. But I warned y'all. What would happen. So now you know what to expect. Now you're seeing it in real time now. You're seeing it. Just letting you know. Have I ever steered you wrong? Yeah. No. Okay. Let's move on. Doom. I can't believe this. Doom, the Dark Ages. PS5 physical release reportedly has just 85 megabytes on the disc. That's it. 85 megabytes on your physical copy. That's all you have on that disc. And the Xbox isn't much bigger. Now, the game requires 85 gigabytes downloads to play. So 85 megabytes, 85 gigabytes. So let's move into this, shall we? Because this is going to get worse than what you think it is. All right? So, let me pull this up real quick. Rumblings of the discontent over Doom, the Dark Ages physical release began over the weekend after one early receiver took to social media to report that the Xbox version contained just 342 megabytes of data on the disc. That was followed by an update on the PS5 version from Does It Play. For those who don't know, Does It Play is a YouTube channel that says if games are online or whatever and gives you warnings of what's going on before you buy a product. It says an account deactivated to testing commercial releases to ensure they work internet free. So it goes to show you that this is something that Doom is doing. So pretty much there's nothing on your disc and you're still downloading digital. I feel this is so fucked up because remember, this guy lied. For those who do not remember, Phil Spencer. Yeah, Todd Howard. Yeah. Todd Howard. Let him make another version of Skyrim. Xbox's Phil Spencer. It says games industry needs to come together behind preservation. Goes to show you, behind preservation. So much for game preservation when you're only putting 342 or 345 megabytes on the Xbox and, make them still download 85 gigs of game. That kills preservation. So it goes to show you how much they can lie to you. It shows you the hypocrisy that they give to you. Man, look, I'm just saying, it's ridiculous. But there's more stuff that are ridiculous. And at this point, I feel it's gamers. This one's on gamers. Alright? So, Onimusha. Let's talk about it. As you can see here, we're going to talk about censorship in Onimusha. So it says it's an alternate, BioDevil Dom says it's an alternate, and as an alternate and as a fan of the franchise, Onimusha has generally had weak alternate costumes, in my opinion, with the exception of Dawn of Dreams that said her default costume isn't altered, and that's honestly the only way I'll play the game unless she gets the Katie skin. Now, with this said, just to show you another picture of what's going on from 2002 to 2025. As you can see, it's not that big of a deal. However, gamers have made it a big deal. Okay? Now, I don't understand this because in the comment section of these tweets, gamers are saying how they are outraged the fact that they censored this stuff and the costumes. However, they've never played the original Onimusha games. So, they're outraged for the sake of being outraged. It's fake outrage. You can't be outraged over censorship when you haven't played the fucking original. You can't. And then people are like, well, I'm not going to try it now anyway. Well, you weren't planning on trying it. You gonna tell me that little black piece going across her chest, that little bit of shirt, is gonna stop you from playing the entire game? That's where we're at now. This is what I mean. Gamers they're going too far. Like I said, these are people who are dividers. I believe that they have no original intent on playing these games, but they sure like making a ruckus about it. They do. And it's also from the usual suspects as well. Like I said, they ain't playing these games. They're not playing these games. I'm just saying, it goes to show you that this is something that people have they've lost all sight of. They've lost the plot. They've lost what it means to play games. And you gotta tell me that that little bit of a shirt is gonna stop you from playing an entire game. Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here. I'm not trying to hear it. It's go away. You're not a gamer. Go away. You're just a shit starter. Go away. Go away. Spend all your time on Twitter talking, complaining, and never playing the games. Crazy. And I've seen this way too many times. So, like I said, usual suspects. But I'm a journalist. No, you're not. You're not a game journalist. You don't do anything that says that you're a journalist. You don't cover games. You only say something when there's a censorship problem. No, that's not covering games. All this wild shit going on in this video that I'm telling y'all, and they ain't talking about it. But they're journalists, but they're not talking about it. No, they talking about this little bit of shirt. Get the fuck out of here. That's not a journalist. And speaking of journalists, let's move on. Because it's the gamer has posted, it's time to start trusting video game reviewers. No, the fuck it's not. I don't know where you got that shit from, but no. Gamers trust gamers. Game reviewers have been caught lying plenty of times. They've been caught not playing a game, only 20% of a game, or 10% of a game, or their first board of a game, and still writing their reviews. We've seen this way too many times. We've seen game reviewers not being able to get past the first board. I mean, no, this is not happening. It's not. We're not going to trust you. We're going to trust our own gut instinct, or we're going to listen to other gamers. That's how it's been. That's how it's always been. That's how it's always going to be. It's ridiculous that this is where we're at. Unreal. But let's move on. I can't believe they actually put that out there. It's time. Who the fuck are you to say it's time? Like, who made you the boss? Fucking stupid. Then they wonder why they get so much pushback. They wonder why. Last bit of news, people, and this is an important piece of news. I told y'all about addiction. All right. Kojima. As you can see, it's pulled up. Kojima proposed a forgetting game that the player would have to play through quickly. In this concept, the main character gradually forgets important information and abilities if you take too long a break from the game. Stupid. Stupid. I'm saying just absolutely stupid, because now you're gonna force people. Pretty much what you're forcing people to do is to become an addict. You're pushing the lines of addiction. What you're saying is you have to constantly be on this game. That's what you're saying. If you don't want to lose anything, keep playing. I don't think he understands that gamers play multiple games. You think that I'm sitting around playing the same game every week? No. Maybe a day or so, and then I'll switch to a different game. Then I'll come back to it maybe a week later or whatever, depending on my schedules from work. You know what I mean? Like, there's reasons why people don't just stick to one game. Some get bored with one game. Some, you know what I mean? Like, it's within the gamer's right to venture out to multiple games that they're playing at a time. You know what I mean? They want to keep it fresh. This is not the way to keep it fresh. All right? This is just you saying power through. And you know what's going to happen, right? You know companies are going to take this and turn it into a fucking shit show. You know companies are. You know that they're going to, use this towards their, ability. Like I said, you can't sit here and just try and peer pressure somebody into playing consistently. You can't do that. That's wrong. Now, some of you said that maybe Kojima didn't intend to do that to make it, intend to be malicious, dude, it doesn't matter if it was intended to be malicious or not. This is what he said out of his mouth, and now it's out there in existence, and someone's going to try it. You know it. And some of y'all cited that Metal Gear already does this, where certain things go spoiled if you don't play it for a while. Other people cited Dragon Guard 3, I believe, that things happen like that when you don't play it for a while. It's very interesting, to say the least, that someone would say something. To be honest, look, I haven't liked any of Kojima's stuff since Metal Gear Solid 4. So it goes to show you that I think I keep saying it today, but he's lost the plot. I don't think that this is a good idea. You know what I mean? I think this is a very naively to say, and he probably thought it was cool to say at the time, but he's going to have to walk that one back. He's going to have to. Because we've seen too much already. We have. Anyways, y'all take care. Y'all be safe. Keep gaming, gamers. Until then, I'm out.